We're here to make government and politics tenable, making government and politics more understandable, presented by citizenu.org. Today's word, public opinion. Today we'll be looking at public opinion. The critical word when considering public opinion is political socialization. How do I learn to think the way I think politically? What makes me a liberal? What makes me a conservative? Am I a Democrat or a Republican? The means by which we learn how to think politically is called political socialization. Political socialization is how I learn what to think about government. Most would argue that the single greatest influence on our political views is family. Oftentimes, our political views are shaped by gender, race, religion, class, education, and religion. Political socialization. Am I a liberal? Am I a conservative? Democrat? Republican? Public opinion. The following 10 words will make public opinion more understandable. More tenable. Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments in our Constitution, is like a promissory note. It represents a promise made by those who came before us that our national government would forever be characterized by its limits. Our most basic and fundamental rights are still on display in the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights. We order the Bill of Rights, 1 being most important, 10 least important. Would you add any? 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, some have argued, may be the single greatest act done by our government. The 14th Amendment guarantees due process of law and equal protection to all citizens. 14th Amendment. Some have called the 14th Amendment the single greatest achievement made by our government. Argue for and against this idea. Equal protection. Jefferson immortalized the ideal when he wrote in our Declaration of Independence, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Equal protection can mean so many different things. At the very least, equal protection means that all citizens are to be treated the same. Equal protection. What makes equality so difficult to achieve? What are the best ways to promote equality? Litigation. We are a litigious society. Whenever we have a question about the law or a conflict with our neighbor, we are prone to take it to court. To litigate means to bring someone to court. Here in America, the law works for you and for me. Litigation. We are called a litigious society. What does this mean? Is being a litigious society a positive or a negative? Third parties. Though we are governed by a two-party system, third parties have played an important role in American government and politics. If a third party begins to resonate due to landing upon an important issue, their idea is usually picked up by one of the other major parties. In this way, third parties are kind of like bees. Once they sting, they die. Third parties. Is a vote for a third party a wasted vote? What prevents third parties from winning elections? Spin. Spin is what we call information that is manipulated in order to shine a better light on someone else's cause. Political parties, interest groups, and others seeking power have used spin to gain great advantages. Knowledge is power. Spin gains someone else power at our expense. Spin. How does spin endanger American democracy? How can we guard against spin? Front-loading. Front-loading is the strategic advantage given to the earliest of primaries and caucuses during the first stages of a presidential election cycle. It is for this reason that candidates running for president spend an incredible amount of time and money trying to win over the hearts and minds of Iowans and those living in New Hampshire. Front-loading. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of front-loading presidential primaries. Marginal districts. Marginal districts are those congressional seats that are competitive. Marginal districts are swing seats. The winner in a marginal district receives a majority but less than 55% of the vote. Marginal districts. Why are marginal districts healthy for democracy? What can be done to encourage more marginal districts? Rule of propinquity. The rule of propinquity is quite simple. The closer you are to power, the more power you have. The rule of propinquity suggests that having the right connections makes a big difference. Rule of propinquity. Explain why the rule of propinquity has been found throughout history. What are the dangers? Freedom of Information Act. If we the people hold the power, we need to be informed about our government. For this reason, the U.S. Congress passed the Freedom of Information Act in 1966. FOIA was passed to assure that executive branch agencies would be required to disclose their actions to the people upon request. Freedom of Information Act. Should our government have any secrets? Who should decide? We're here making American and government and politics tenable. We're here to make American government and politics understandable. Presented by citizenu.org. Today's topic, public opinion.